Welcome everyone who is joining us live and those watching our recording today. We are so excited to be hosting the third annual Indigenous Community and Wellness in STEM virtual gathering. I am Dr. McCluster Davis. I'm currently a SACNAS board member, and I am so excited to see so many people joining us live. This year's theme for the Community and Wellness in STEM virtual gathering is climate change and the impacts on our Native and Indigenous communities. This virtual gathering is meant to bring Native, Indigenous STEM membership and our supporting community together to learn, share, network, and encourage one another, especially our young scholars in STEM. We would like to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to join us. Our hope is someday to host this event in person. SACNAS acknowledges our Native American and Indigenous people and shows respect and appreciation for the lands that belong to the Native nations who were the original inhabitants of this country. SACNAS is a fully inclusive organization dedicated to achieving true diversity in STEM. As the nation's largest multicultural and multidisciplinary STEM diversity organization, SACNAS creates space where all members, volunteers, and partners feel they belong and can embrace their intersectional identities. SACNAS is based out of California, which is the original homelands of over 200 tribal nations, bands, and rancheras of Native American and Indigenous people. We would like to take this time to acknowledge the original caretakers of the lands which we all live and work and honor the rich culture of the Indigenous people across the country. To learn more about Native land and your relationship with the tribal nations who have taken care of our lands for time immemorial, I'm sharing in the chat the link, thank you, Elizabeth, where you can learn at nativeland.ca to know more. To help us kick off this event, I am so pleased and we are so honored to have the 2023-2024 Miss Indian World, Tori McConnell, with us. Miss Indian World, Tori McConnell, comes from the Yurok and Karuk tribes in Northwestern California. I was so honored to call her my pageant sister and participating in Miss Indian World this past year. Tori was born and raised in Eureka, California. She graduated from the University of California, Davis in 2021 with her Bachelor of Arts in Native American Studies. We bonded over also learning neuroscience in our undergrad. Throughout her life, she has been known as an artist, musician, singer, and as an advocate of traditional foods and a healthy way of life. As she grew up from adolescence and adulthood, Tori chose to deepen her commitment to her family and culture through apprenticeship in traditional Yurok basketry, the Karuk language, and ceremonial participation. An especially meaningful milestone was serving as a medicine girl for her ancestral village in the Yurok White Deerskin Dance, which is a world renewal ceremony whose purpose is central to the values of the Northwest California Indian people. We're so honored to have Tori here with us today and share her thoughts. I'll hand it on over to Tori.
Yotawa, thank you so much, Lauren, and it's so good to see you again. I want to say thank you for having me, for thinking of me to share. It means a lot, and it's been such a busy time since the pageant, and so it seems like everything's going really well. I'm really happy to be here today to share with you. I was asked to share a little bit about where I'm coming from and what we're doing here in Northern California, and the importance of our environment and what we are taking care of here. So first of all, Ayuki ko wada kun na nitway Tori McConnell, na wada karu yuruk asik tawan, karu nani ada das kun ku adam sip, toi wuk karu amek yadam, karu nani yuruk ada das kun ku adam sip wasek, esi serper, karu rekoi. Panikari oak, uthkan hidak, payok, wadatai ni achicha, pai pasupa, pai mahit. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tori McConnell, and I am from the Yurok and Karuk tribes, and my ancestors descend from the villages of Toiwu, Amekiadam, and my Yurok ancestors from the villages of Brekoi, Serper, and Wasek. And I'm here today at my parents' house in Eureka, in Wiyot country, our southern neighbors, surrounded by the redwood trees. This is where I grew up. Being from the Yurok tribe and the Karuk tribe, or any of the local tribes along the river or the coast here, this is a really big year for us because we are seeing the first year of the undamming of the Klamath River. This not only has major implications for California Indian people, for our local people, and not only for the people of this country, but also of the entire world. It has a strong foundation in Indigenous environmental rights and sovereignty, and it has been made possible through generations of collaborations between tribal, governmental, and nonprofit organizations who have worked hard to bring forth the evidence that the dams are not healthy for our environment. And this is so significant because when I was in my mother's womb, I lived off of the salmon. And as I grew, I continued to live off of the salmon that come from the Klamath River. And my mother, before she was born, and her mother, and my father, and their parents, we have all subsisted from the salmon. And when I was in my summer of my second year, between my second year of college and my third year of college, when I was a student at UC Davis, I was exploring the realms of science and environmental science. At that time, I was a major in neurobiology, physiology, and behavior at UC Davis. But I was starting to kind of expand my thinking and expand my knowledge of the possible career paths that I could have. And so I started doing an emphasis on organism environment interactions. And I use this opportunity for my tribe to work on a research project underneath one of the PhD students at UC Davis. So it was a collaboration between the Yurok Tribe Education Department and UC Davis, Fangi Fish Lab. And I went up to Corvallis, Oregon at Oregon State University, and we were at the fish lab there, the fish disease lab. And I got to procure the data through a simulation of the outmigration of juvenile Chinook salmon from the estuary of the Klamath River into the ocean. And so we were able to take organ samples and measure the amount of measure the hematocrit, measure the stress hormones and other things that would indicate stress in these baby salmon. And this was so critical because, as we know, in the legal system, if we want to fight for our rights as Indigenous people, we have to have evidence. Unfortunately, they don't believe our histories. You know, they force us to comply with the Western ideals of information and Western knowledge systems. And so for us, I'm sure that we all can relate to this, how difficult but how rewarding it is to straddle that line and find the balance between our Indigenous values that are close to our hearts and being able to bring them forth into the world through something like science that is dominated by the Western mindset. And so today I commend each and every one of you for doing that. I know it's hard. I've been there. And honestly, it didn't end up being my career path in the end, but it might be someday. Who knows what's gonna happen? I didn't know that I was gonna run for Miss Indian World just a year ago. So you never know what's gonna happen, but the truth is those fields are so important and critical for us because now we're seeing the evidence. The largest undamming project in the history of the world is taking place, and it's more than just world history. That sounds so funny to say, but it's more than just world history. It's more than um, an ecological restoration project, but it's a realignment with the way that the world was designed, and um, it's a piece of hope for our culture because from this salmon, we developed our civilization, our advanced indigenous society, where we have intricate and beautiful arts. And that has only been made possible because of the salmon, because of the nutrients that those salmon deliver to our bodies and to our minds. One of the most high quality nutrients that you can find in this, one of the most high quality sources of nutrients that you can find in this world is from where we're from. And that is what has made us healthy. It's what's made us beautiful and what's brought us so far into today. So once again, I want to commend you, and each and every one of you has that special place, has something to offer and to bring. And I hope to offer my good news of what my tribe has been seeing this year, seeing something that we didn't know was possible. Also, continue those collaborations with your community, um, organizing and the different departments that you work with, or just the community base in general. And always remember to take care of yourself as you're going through this. You know, your science is not gonna look maybe the same as everyone else's. Like it's okay, and that's a good thing. But no matter what anyone tells you when you go into these spaces, just remember and hold on to the fact that you are valuable, and what you bring to the table, what you bring to the scientific community is just as valid as everyone else. The projects that we work on are meaningful, and they come from an ethical and beautiful place of love and a passion for life and a passion for positivity, of goodness to the very core of our beings. So remember that and own that when you walk into these spaces, because this world needs that. When in the spaces that we go into, people, and sadly a lot in Western science, don't have that feeling of community or the reason to do this work. Sometimes some of us are pushed into this work because our lives depend on it, our communities and our cultures depend on it. And you know what? That is a great burden and a great responsibility, but it is a great example to these people in this world that is searching for meaning, searching for something to hold on to that gives them hope, that gives them a reason to wake up in the morning. And we are so special because we have that. And I just want to thank you once again for the work that you do. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'm looking forward to maybe meeting some of you in person someday. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That is wonderful. Awesome kickoff to our webinar today. I did drop a link to follow Miss Indian World, Toni McConnell, Instagram to keep up to date, to watch what she's doing. Hopefully you get to see the video where she is crowned. It's awesome. Thank you so much.